It shocked me that he was so candid because we're so, which is not just saying the obvious. He didn't say anything that we don't know. We already knew that they were going to trade Jimmy G. It was just a matter of when, right? So I don't think it affects his trade value. I think if anything, it puts the conversation to rest, which a lot of head coaches could actually take a page from Kyle Shanahan. He answered the question directly, and now we know that Jimmy G is still on the trade block, and at some point, he will get moved. It's just a matter of when, not if.
Were you surprised, Chris, that he said this?
Not really, because I think this is the worst kept secret in the National Football League. And anytime you trade 3 first-round draft picks in order to get a guy to play quarterback, he's going to start for your team sooner rather than later. So I'm not surprised. But the fact is, if they move him sooner as opposed to later, it gives the 49ers the opportunity to take care of more pressing business, which is getting Nick Bosa on a contract extension, trying to figure out the Deebo Samuel situation as well. Jimmy Garoppolo being moved is just another hurdle, another obstacle until you can take care of the main business that the 49ers have to focus on this offseason.
Yeah, and that main business, well, there's a lot of them. Trey Lance, Deebo Samuel, to name a few. Booger, I wonder if this is more about a message to Trey Lance as it is acknowledging what's happening with Jimmy G.
Well, I think Trey Lance has already gotten the message. I think he got a rude awakening last year when he came in and he didn't play very well. So this is a huge offseason for him. I would agree with Kate Martin and Chris, but here's what I'll say. This may wind up being a blessing in disguise. Let's just play the what-if game. What if this lingers into training camp and now we get into August and Jimmy G is still on the 49ers and Trey Lance hasn't gotten off to a great start? If you're the 49ers, you're not just going to throw away this season. And Jimmy G, if he's still on your roster at this point, maybe you change your mind about trading him. So, yeah, I agree. Everyone expects Jimmy G to be traded. But if this lingers in the training camp and Trey Lance doesn't get off to a good start and they don't have a really good feeling about him being their starting quarterback, what's to say they can't just say, hey, you know what? Let's keep Jimmy G. He gives us the best opportunity to win, and we can push off Trey Lance for another year. Highly unlikely, but that is a position that if I'm the 49ers, I'm really thinking about right now, especially if this lingers in the training camp.
Canty's not buying it. Canty, what do you think?
Nah, Boog, you know the psyche of a young quarterback is fragile in this league, and there's no way that you can pull Trey Lance if you're talking about Jimmy G being, potentially stepping in and trying to, be a stopgap until the young signal caller figures it out, because that might be a situation that that Trey Lance doesn't recover from. So with Jimmy G on his final year, it just makes sense that the 49ers would trade him and get something of value. We know that at training camp or early on in the season, there always are key injuries to starting quarterbacks. Teams get desperate. And so that could be what Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are waiting on in order to extract maximum value from a team that's willing to do the dance for Jimmy G.
Let me just push back on that.
Here's the thing that I would say is that I'm really not concerned. I'm really not concerned about a young quarterback's feelings. If I'm an organization, I'm concerned about winning and winning big. The 49ers are in win now mode. Like, they are not trying to rebuild and come back in a couple years. This team is proven that how they play, the physical style, their defense, they're trying to win. So I could really care less about Trey Lance's feelings. I'm not concerned about him. I'm trying to win football games. And Ken, to the bottom line, if he's not ready to play, if he can't be more accurate with the football, if he can't throw the football with touch, if he can't prove that he can run my team, I could care less how he feels. I'm about winning games, and that's why I think the 49ers, even though they want to trade Jimmy G, they need to slow play this, and it may be a blessing in disguise if he's still on that team in training camp and Trey Lance hasn't gotten off to a good start.
Boog, that's a perfect world argument, and we know that's not how it goes down in the National Football League. That should be how it is, but it's not a true meritocracy when you're talking about a team that's invested 3 number-1 picks in a quarterback. They are going to give Trey Lance all the support, all the runway in terms of being able to get him ready to play at a high level. And guess what? If you miss on Trey Lance, not saying it's going to cost Kyle Shanahan his job, but it's damn sure going to cost somebody their job, because you can't invest that kind of draft capital and not have that player live up to those types of expectations. It just doesn't happen.
This is why it's such an interesting topic, because on the one hand, this isn't like the Jaguars or the Texans, no diss on them, but this is a Super Bowl quality team. If he struggles, a lot of questions coming up in San Francisco. Speaking of questions, a lot of questions going on with Deebo Samuel. How does Deebo in Dallas sound? Check out these pictures. Samuel hanging with Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, as well as Cowboys wideout CeeDee Lamb. San Francisco, of course, beat Dallas in the playoffs, but it feels like love is blossoming between these guys. Look at all those hard eyes going on. Are they all happy? Kimberly, what are we to make of this? Is Deebo hanging out with the Cowboys something or nothing, or is love blossoming?
Listen, if I'm Dak, I would have hard eyes too looking at Deebo. I think if you're the 49ers, you're looking at this as this is nothing because you didn't expect him to be at voluntary OTAs. This isn't a surprise. But from the outside looking in, the optics just aren't good because you know this guy has said he's unhappy, whether it be with his role or the contract. You know, he clearly wants to get paid, and whatever tensions exist in San Francisco, they haven't yet been put to rest. So until that happens, the speculation about Deebo's future is going to exist, and the Dallas Cowboys, we know, they always could use some weapons.
Okay, now we know San Fran's probably said, look, it's just pictures, whatever. They're at a game, who cares? You think there's something to it?
I think there's something to it. We gotta acknowledge that he was there for Game 3, Dubs, Mavs. So that's a part of that whole equation. But we also have to acknowledge that Deebo Samuel liked a tweet with him in the Cowboys uniform earlier this offseason. And so I can't say that it's outside of the realm of possibility that Deebo might try to force his way out of San Francisco and want to land in with the Dallas Cowboys. And if you look at where the Cowboys are at right now, that's a team that could absolutely use him. You're talking about a team that only had 5 squads with fewer broken tackles on run plays. And we know how Deebo Samuel's factors into the run game, but also in terms of being a yak monster yards after catch. So it seems like it would be a fit for a team that overnight became deficient in terms of weaponry. So Deebo Samuel, Dallas Cowboys, seems like it'd be a perfect fit. I can't imagine that Kyle Shanahan would be thrilled about trading him to Dallas, though.
No, I don't think he likes seeing those pictures either.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.